Hello everyone, and welcome to the Kukely Bushcraft channel. Okay, so we're going to have a little look at this knife today. This is the Manly Patriot. So I've been carrying this for about 3 weeks. So 3 weeks isn't a long time to get a very good opinion of a knife, but it has been 3 weeks of pretty hard use, so I think I've got a pretty good idea. So yesterday we removed these two old braces off the sleigh, so cutting through wet frozen string, stripped 2 frozen birch poles of bark, attached them. Yesterday cut through a whole load of that rope there, so yeah, quite a bit of rope cutting. Let's see how the edge is holding up so far. I'd say that really wasn't bad. And yeah, it comes with this little booklet which gives you all of the information right there. So length 210 millimeters, width 24, weight 160 grams, handle material G10, steel 1.2379, so I believe that's German for D2. Corrosion resistance low. Well, it's D2. It's a carbon steel, but it's quite a rust resistant carbon steel. Of course, it does depend also on the environment where you're working. If you're around salt water or somewhere with quite a humid environment, you might have more issues with rust, but I think I might have put that on medium. It's yeah, D2 doesn't tend to rust very much. And I do have another D2 knife here, which is the Brother F005. I did a review of this quite a while ago. So what else we got? Length. So blade length 91 millimeters. So yeah, I'll do some conversions into imperial. Thickness 4 millimeters. Width 25 millimeters. Sharpening angle 15 degrees. Hardness 59 to 61 HRC. So let's have a look at this. So yeah, that's got quite an exaggerated drop point. The reason for that, I broke the tip. So the question that we should be asking is, was I misusing it at the time? And to be honest, yeah, I mean, I take these knives into work every day to put them to the test a little bit, you know, and you see people on these videos have done a bit of a rough job of dropping that point. I'll maybe smoothing that off a little bit, but you know, you see people on videos doing things like tip tests. I don't do that. I don't actually go out of my way to try and damage the knife, but as if I'm at work and I'm putting something to the test, I may, you know, not quite treat it how I should. What I normally carry at work is Amora basic, you know, and these things take everything. If you're familiar with Amora basic, you'll see that blade is quite a bit thinner than they come, because that's been used and sharpened and used and sharpened. So that's what I usually use at work. But as if I'm testing something, I do tend to test it. And so I've got a piece of round wood. with a flat on the top and the side, and I've cut in with the skill saw from the top and the side, and basically there was a little bit of wood keeping the offcut in place. I was just prying that out, so the knife broke round about here, and I pried the rest out using the halter's force for comparison. Of course, I should have used the chisel. This is a full flat grind. It's very thin behind the cutting edge. D2 is a steel that has got a reputation for being a little bit brittle, and 59 to 61 HRC, that's quite hard. And to be honest, with the thinness behind the edge, I was expecting to get a little bit of chipping, which is an issue that I've had with this knife. It's only been very, very minor. Also, this is quite hard steel, and I found with this, out of the box, it was absolutely razor sharp, and the edge retention has been really good, but to get it back to the initial sharpness, I got it to the point where it had just about shave, and then to get it to the next point where it'll shave hairs easily, it was actually quite a bit of work. So yeah, so thin behind the cutting edge, a little bit on the hard side. So the knives I'm used to using, I mean, Amora's, what's that, about 59 HRC, 80 CRV2 Pocos, that's 57 to about 59. So anything where you're going over about 60 is, to my mind, a little bit too hard, difficult to sharpen, and more likely to chip and break. But I've had absolutely no issues with chipping. It's just that one little mishap there where I really should have been being a little bit more careful with a knife of this kind. So could that have also have happened battening or something like that? Absolutely, I think so. So yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful with things like that. Let's go to the sheath. So we've got that clip on the back. I believe the older ones came with some kind of a nylon sleeve with a dangler, which I would actually have preferred, because the thing is with this, it rides very high, which means as if you're wearing a rucksack with a belt, or as if you're towing an expedition pulk or a toboggan behind you, or as if you're being towed by a sled dog by a belt. Anything wearing a belt over the top of your clothes, and it gets in the way a little bit. On the other hand, it's not all that bad, because everything is, both the knife and the sheath, really quite thin, so it's not as bad as with some other knives. You can also carry it in your pack and just clip it on your belt as needed. That's a very, very solid clip. Another thing I've been doing is I've been clipping it to my salopettes there, and it hangs like that. You can also carry it upside down as if you're so inclined. So no rattle in the sheath, and it is pretty bomb proof, and it has actually got a really good mechanism here. So you see that hole there, there's a little nubbin on the inside, and it clicks into the hole, so that gives really pretty good retention. You've got two holes here, so you know, lanyard options. You know, you get lots of people saying that you don't need a lanyard on a small knife because you don't chop with it, but as if you have a lanyard going around the back of your hand over your thumb like that, I find is if you're doing a lot of cutting, that fatigues you a little bit less. It's also quite a thin handle, which I found, at least wearing gloves, is a little bit, you cramps your hand up a little bit. But yeah, So another thing I thought about is having this on a bouldering rig, but the thing is, because it's so handle heavy, it tends to tilt down, and I really don't like things upside down, you know. So as if you attach it there and there, it ends up riding like this, and I prefer a bouldering rig to be that kind of an angle. On my Salopets it rides like this. I'll do a video at some point about carrying options, because I do sometimes like to have my knives over my shoulder. That way I can wear them over the top of a big jacket, or as if I am wearing a big jacket, I can have it on the inside, zip the jacket down and reach inside. And as if it's on your belt, if it's on your belt and you've got a big jacket in the way, it's really hard to get in and out of the sheath. So yeah, but the fact it's a Kydex sheath and that lots of holes in it, that does give you quite a few carrying options. And I'm pretty sure you can also reverse that clip and carry it horizontally on your belt, as if you like to carry your knives like that. One more thing about this is the spine is absolutely razor sharp, so it's great for scraping. Try and get a few scrapings of this. Wait. There we go. Also got a little bit of jimping there, a little bit of jimping there. It's very non-aggressive, so it's not uncomfortable. You don't really notice it's there, but it does maybe give you a bit of traction. As for the edge geometry, I do generally, for campcrafts and woodworking, I do generally prefer a Scandi grind or a sabre grind or a high Scandi grind over a full flat grind. A full flat grind I think is good for food prep and, well, better for pretty much everything that doesn't involve being robust and cutting through wood. So as if you want a knife for hunting and fishing, then I think this would be an excellent option. As if you want to batten through logs and, you know, and carve spoons and things like that, then maybe better to go with something like this. Or save yourself some money and just buy Amora. Okay, we're making some quite fine little curls there. I'm just going to compare that to Amora. Which I always find a Scandi grind a lot more controllable for doing anything with wood. But sometimes with a flat grind, the angle's a little bit different and you do get finer feathers. It is all about getting the angle right. But one of the big positives of this knife is its price. It's made in Bulgaria, so not made in China like this one. And personally, I'd much rather buy something that's made in Europe than made in China. And yeah, this cost me €50. I had a bit of a conversation on Instagram with someone, and he was saying how much he paid for it, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And when I checked, I really had paid pretty much the same for mine. I thought I'd paid more for it, but yeah, I mean the build quality for €50, full tang, you know, flat grind rather than hollow grind. I mean, it's really quite a bargain. You can get something cheaper from China, so probably similar quality. Do I trust Chinese heat treat? Well, you know, I think you're always taking a bit of a gamble. This knife's been absolutely brilliant. But yeah, the Manly Patriot, a nice cheap little flat grind knife, and yeah, it's a good knife. Just don't abuse it as much as I have. And thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna end the video with some imperial specifications and a couple of photos of what it actually looks like with its tip intact. So thanks for watching. Please drop us a comment, tell us what you think, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down as if you're so inclined, and I'll see you all again soon for another Coot Gully Bushcraft video. Bye for now. So the overall length is 8 1/4 inches, and the blade length is 3 3/4 inches. So the blade width is 1 inch, and the thickness is 0.157 of an inch. The weight is 0.44 pounds.